Hello, welcome to the MDL, and we're here for a very special occasion. Jimmy Gagan here from Me Chronicle. We're here for an exhibition of soccer memorabilia for all the way from the early 1980s, and I'm here with one of the driving forces behind this exhibition, and a man who, of course, who could be described as Mr. Soccer in this area, Jerry Gorman. Of course, Jerry, you're also helped out in this project. Well, Eddie Stars is a driving force really in this particular project, isn't he?
Absolutely. Eddie collated all this vast information that thankfully was at his disposal, but it wasn't at his disposal later in trails for a man like that. It was stuck in attic somewhere, it was whatever. Thankfully, I was always very conscious from my end, getting involved in football in the early 80s, the value of first of all the media with yourselves. At that stage it was Tex Mooney and the Chronicle, and great help in promoting what we had then, which was very, very basic, but we held everything together as a memento and records of it, and to this day it's all there for to see. But it's not all about the Meath League starting up in 1980. Meath, of course, wouldn't have a massive tradition in association football, but there has been association football records going back, and the first thing we see here is Navan United, and it's an excellent production of a photograph from the 27-28 season, and numerous reports of where Navan United would have participated, mostly again teams from large urban areas, from Dublin, of course, and from Drogheda as well. But there's an interesting one there. One from my own parish, Dunsany. Navan United played them in the 1930s. Dunsany drew 1-1, and there's even a few names mentioned on it. So that's very nostalgic and great to see. So as we know, as we move on, it shows on our left here up to 30s, 40s, various Navan sites, mostly Navan based, of course. Navan Celtic, and one here we see in Navan Town. Until we got to a point where I'd say England winning the World Cup in 1966 would certainly had an influence on the start-up of a number of teams in Meath. And the first one we see there is Parkville in 1966. A few well-known names there: Bud Maguna, Rafi Monaghan, Hank Newman, to mention a few, Shane O'Faulkner. So it really kicked in from there. And we had Retoad Harps and Trim Celtic, Delete, Dunboyne, to name a few, coming on board then just a year or so later on. So they established themselves and were part of the communities for a number of years. And as you mentioned there, in 1980, I was involved with various casual groups playing in tournaments organised by Trim Celtic from the Kilmessan area. And there was certainly a huge gap there to exploit, and thankfully a good response from the dominant of what was then known as the Mid-Meath League.
Yes, the league got up and running, Jerry, and it quickly developed, didn't it? You know, so, and we move out here to another section of the exhibition that, as I say, was put together very painstakingly, very carefully by Eddie Stars and his team, and of course Jerry contributed a lot as well. And we see cuttings here from newspapers, various match reports, Jerry, I think that you kept over the years.
I would have kept from not the very first year, but certainly we still have some records from the first year or so. But from the early 80s, yeah, you can see them there all laid out in very scrapbook style, and not just the big matches, you know, every single match report in the Chronicle. As you can see, we got some wonderful exposure, and that helped us to no end.
Yeah, and it's full of memories, isn't it, for people who played in these games? I played in myself with Kahlua Wanderers in some of those matches, but but it's you know, it's a store of huge memories and precious memories for people.
Yeah, you see one there, Joey Garrity, a famous active GA official, spent a year with his refereeing, and certainly enjoyed himself, and always was very supportive of us.
Yeah, well, Joey, a great GA man, as you say, Jerry.
I was speaking to him actually during the week, and I've told him about this, and he's excited enough about it, and said he certainly will give us a call. If it's not tonight, he will hit it here at some evening. Yeah. We're delighted to go through what's on show.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's a real treasure trove of memories here. We got so many books here as well. There was books, various productions that are out recorded what went on in as you said, the Mid-Mead League, and then the Meath and District League, and of course now the North East Football League.
Yeah, Colin Collier, now the sports editor in the Meath Chronicle for many years, helped us out enormously with all those productions there, all those yearbooks, smaller productions there, monthly, bi-monthly, cup final programmes, shield final programmes. He was totally responsible for that, and it's only now you see the value of them. Yeah,
well, there's one there very imaginatively titled "Another Brick in the Wall," taken from Pink Floyd album, but it's not just another brick in the wall. This is 21 years after Meath and District League, so that was the first 21.
We thought long and hard about the title for that, and we felt at that point we were well established in the sporting landscape, and the analogy is not the right word, with Pink Floyd's hit. Actually, that was number one in the charts in November 1980 when we started out, so that's the other connection there. And not just another brick in the wall, meaning, we feel we're part of the sporting landscape.
Excellent.
I think we proved that as time went on.
And yes, Jerry, and we moved the trophies there. We could see the trophies there, and certainly you presented a lot of those yourself, I'm sure.
Well, you're focusing on the underage ones there, which I was involved in at the start up of the Meath Schoolboys League in 1984-5 season, and it took off as well, because without the conveyor belt coming through, you're not going to have the adult football running as smoothly as you'd like it. And they became the North East Football League then.
Okay, well, you have a very interesting section here with jerseys, Jerry. Colours of the various clubs over the years. Maybe outline some of those clubs that we say Park.
Look at it. Well, that's just looks like the Park full of colours, which they are, and it was worn by our Oscar Traynor team as a backup. More of our representative ones. The Fiat Navan Motors Brewery FC had a few great years in the early 80s. Ben McLarney, the driving force there, a nice photograph of them. I think that's just after the cup final win in 1984 in Tully Park.
Right. Brewery.
Other numerous ones there. Bucker Rovers on the scene for a few years. Klondike Bar, I think, would give the one away there in the middle.
Right, yeah, Bowtown, yeah. So these are clubs really that were very prominent in the league at one stage, but really, some of them fell by the wayside, and they're remembered here tonight by these jerseys. And
yeah, matters like that. It was inevitable that all start-up clubs weren't going to just last the distance, but there's 51 clubs in the league now, representing 74 teams. Now that's taken in, of course, other counties, not just Meath. And don't forget, there's a very strong East Meath clubs playing in the Leinster Senior League, like Ratoad Harps, Dunboyne, Ashbourne, to mention a few. Also are within the confines of County Meath, and certainly gives the profile of football in the county a massive boost.
Yes, absolutely. And we move on here, and there's the as I say, the
production there commemorating 50 years of Parkville Football Club. Also Eddie, another one of Eddie's
Opus Magnums.
Yeah, again, yeah, certainly. It will go on the CV.
Very good, Eddie. Yeah, we can see Eddie and his son Nathan there putting the finishing touches to this.
Yeah, he has Nathan well trained.
Yeah. And pennants here, Jerry. Pennants again, more newsprint.
Matches, you would have played in representative football. For mostly the other age ones there.
Yeah. More of them here, Galway United, all this soccer leagues.
We've fond days from the Jack Charlton era.
Yes, indeed, they're being recalled here. This
1994, and also some cup finals featured here involving Manalvi when they won their famous 3 in a row cups back in the 80s, 83, 84, 85. So
Actually, they're very good because considering from the early 80s. You know,
oh yeah, that was 1983 and one of the worst days I can remember in Dunshaughlin.
Cup final, yeah.
Not my Albi at boy. And Albi won, of course, they won everything in them days.
Yes, of course, yes.
I don't think they ever got the credit they deserved. They had some very talented players, but they were very talented at Gaelic football and hurling as well. So they weren't in a position really to concentrate totally on association football. But certainly when they were given their all, there was no finer team at the time.
Absolutely, Jerry, Gary Rogers, their section, whole section given over to Gary, of course. 500 league appearances. He's also chasing a record in Europe, of course. He's playing tonight in Riga.
In Riga, it was 0-0 as I was coming in. So fingers crossed that Gary will be participating in the second round of that competition.
Yeah.
Certainly, Gary Rogers, an absolute credit to the game, a credit to County Meath, and. When Eddie approached him first, he didn't know what sort of a reaction he was going to get. He couldn't have been more helpful, and as you can see there, he's given his personal pride of memorabilia, and we've got to make sure that that's minded, and you know that nothing goes astray around like that.
His Irish jersey. He was on the bench for a couple of internationals.
He was on the bench against Oman.
Oman.
I'd have to say, and Martin O'Neill for me that night showed no compassion. Well, I don't want to use the words compassion, but certainly a little bit of consideration to what it would have meant for a Meath player steeped in the tradition of that man to get even 3 minutes out on that pitch. And he would have been the first Meath player to do so. He probably was never going to get another opportunity given his age profile. And
it would have been special for soccer in this area, wouldn't it?
I just feel not only Gary Rogers, Meath sport and fraternity in general was let down. I think he just let down management as a whole and making such a decision.
Yes. Okay, Jerry. You know, we have certainly all the international caps of various players of the years.
Jersey, you see here, Frank Henry and Associates sponsoring Navan Cosmos. Frank was a stalwart member of Mr. Navan Cosmos for years and years, and probably without his contribution there wouldn't be a Navan Cosmos competing in the league at the moment. And we all seen the great success they would have had in more recent times. I know they're falling from grace at the moment, but that's the nature of junior football in some quarters.
Yes, amalgamated with Navan Town,
They have a site now across the
a very successful club for years. International section here, international section there. Yeah, and jerseys there, very worn by various people over the years. Ross Tracy, David Quirk, Darren Kavanagh, Conor Brennan, just a few of the names we see up there. Amanda McQuillan.
Politically correct too. Amanda McQuillan.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, she has donated her jersey to this and a couple of caps there to this exhibition.
And just like Gary Rogers, the moment that lady was approached, she couldn't be more helpful.
Very good.
And Eddie will tell you that.
Referees, of course, we have a whole referees corner
referees here, and the man featured there in the middle, Niall Byrne, unfortunately passed away this year, and it was a very sad occasion for all those who knew him. So nice to see him remembered in that way. Conor Byrne, certainly the top referee in this area, if not for me, in the country, refereed an FAI Junior Cup final and also a Leinster Junior Cup final. Massive achievement, and the programmes are there. Some of the guests are there. Conor featured in it there. Liffey Wanderers against Sheriff YC. It certainly wouldn't have been the easiest game in the world to referee, but he went through it in his usual professional manner and took it in his stride.
So some referees.
The great Carl Riley, the late great Carl Riley, died unfortunately just prior to the 2002 World Cup.
And he followed Ireland everywhere for years,